Steam locomotives were once the cornerstone of engineering. When dieselization happened in the 1950s, they were all scrapped. Their home in Melbourne was the once grand North Melbourne Loco Works. When steam was abolished, it was abolished too. This is the North Melbourne Loco Works, and everything you need to know about it. History. In the 1880 Power Parade, Spencer Street Loco Works couldn't handle the sudden influx of steam locomotives. Victorian Railways quickly scrambled to design a new Loco Works. It was built east of the Moonee Ponds Creek, and in between the current-day Dynon and Footscray roads. The Loco Works were completed sometimes in the late 1880s. This location was chosen, as coal could be easily shipped over from the Latrobe Valley or New South Wales. The Loco Works saw 3 generations of locomotives, over a period of 80 years. In the early 50s, the Loco Works was home to 160 locomotives, but as dieselization was just around the corner, this number wouldn't last. South Dynon Loco Works was opened across the creek to accommodate the new diesels. Over 300 steam locomotives were scrapped within the first 12 years. The last steam locomotive to exit North Melbourne Loco Works was R703 on the 18th of May 1964, headed for Geelong. The next year, after being dormant for a couple of months, with the help of locomotive K188, the engine shed was pulled down in front of a crowd of onlookers. It signified an end of an era. Facilities. The Loco Works was built out of brick and iron. It had 6 entrance tracks, 2 tracks at the main goods yard, 3 from stabling roads, and 1 at the rear. There were 7 washout sidings, 3 tracks for coal depositing, 8 stabling roads / coal fuelers, 3 tracks for the paint shed, 1 reversing track, also known as the North Melbourne Balloon Loop, and the engine shed itself. There also used to be a bunch of random sidings. Most of them have been removed, however. In 1943, the Loco Works housed 14 C-Class, 21 X-Class, 2 T-Class, 11 N-Class, 11 K-Class, the singular H-Class on the Victorian network, 14 D4 Class, 14 E-Class, 13 Y-Class, 1 D-Class, 17 D3 Class, 7 D2 Class, and a whole host of others. Signal boxes. This diagram from 1914 shows that 1 signal box controlled the Loco Works. In this 1974 diagram, this same signal box is called Western Tower. However, it might have had a different name in the early 90s. This 1974 diagram also shows the new facilities that have been built after the demolition of North Melbourne Loco Works. Where is it today? The facilities of North Melbourne Loco Works are now a variety of buildings and flat land. The
North Melbourne Loco Works
are now where Google Maps calls the WGTPE gates are. The balloon loop is still where it is today, however I think it's been removed in 2019. Google Maps never updated satellite view. The washout sidings were located under the current day Dynon Road. A couple of sidings have been extended to go over the Moonee Ponds Creek, while others have been completely removed, or turned into car parking. The main
paint shops
are now where a couple of V-line sidings are, and a bunch of random metro buildings, including, but not limited to, Metro Signals Reactive, Yarra Trams E-Gate, and Metro E-Gate. If any of these are wrong, blame Google Maps. Should it have been kept? The space for North Melbourne Loco Works is an impressive 3 hectares. The current space is used as a couple of metro facilities after all the diesel facilities were moved to South Dynon. North Melbourne Loco Works was in a similar situation as the number 2 goods shed in Docklands. The shed was meant to be knocked down, like the other goods sheds, but developers of Docklands thought it held a historical significance, so it was kept. The demolition of the Loco Works was about 30 years before Docklands was even proposed, and they had a very different mindset back in the 50s. If the Loco Works was kept abandoned until Docklands was redeveloped, maybe it could have been renovated too. There have been proposals for the number 2 goods shed to become a market. If the North Melbourne Loco Works was kept, the building could be used as something larger, like a museum, exhibition centre, or shopping centre. However, that didn't happen. But what if the building was kept? Well, there would be some issues with this plan. The closest part of Docklands to the North Melbourne Loco Works is Waterfront City, which is around 400 meters away. A bridge would have to be provided over Footscray Road and a couple of rail facilities to even get to the shed. Parking isn't an issue because there is adequate space for parking, because 3 hectares is more than enough. To access the site, you could have a ramp off Footscray Road and another one off CityLink, but would this redevelopment even be needed, as Flemington Racecourse, Melbourne Showgrounds, and Melbourne Museum are much easier to get to, and much larger. But I think the building could be used for a lot of things, and it is a real shame it was demolished, but I understand why it was. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you liked this video on the North Melbourne Loco Works. If you have any suggestions on what line I should do next, then leave a comment below. If not, I will see you later.